And for you, those of you that are asking, what's the big deal with this light? I hear about it. Why is it so important? Because this light is almost like a cell phone. And the difference with a cell phone, whether you are talking into it, whether you have it plugged in to the wall, or whether it's on battery power. If it's on battery power, what's happening to the power of that phone? It's starting to go down, right? Because you're using up battery power. That's like the analogy of using your energy to try and get something done. It's exhausting. And it's limited. You can only do so much, and then you have to sort of break, charge up, do whatever. But if you have the phone plugged in where this light is constantly coming through, then you can talk for hours, and actually the battery power starts to go up. Even though you're using power, it's an unlimited source in that example. When this light is unimpeded, that light can come in and then be able to really bring in that energy and that insight. Most times, you have lots of energy to get stuff done. The real challenge is, what do I do in a certain situation? What do I do about my job that I really don't like and I want to get into another dream job? What about my spouse? What about my health? My health is what it is, and I really am going through some challenges physically. How do I do that? When this light is wide open, it'll give you insights on how to manage your physical apparatus. Because they gave it to you. And it doesn't matter what you've done to put yourself in this situation. Spirit is saying practically everything is reversible. You can reverse the hands of time. I have seen people that are 10 years older than I am, and they look the same as I do. And I've seen that same person change their life, and they actually look younger. They actually look like they're less stressed and there's less weight on them. And so that is because they've done something to themselves to lighten things up. Does anybody remember the one movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, with Indiana Jones? There's this one part where Harrison Ford is in a cave. He had a rope to come down, and he's in this cave, and there's a hole in the ceiling. And at one point, he puts a stick in the cement, and he puts a crystal on top of this. And he waits for the sun to come in through the opening. And when it hits the crystal, it shows him where the ark is buried, or where it's hidden. You remember that scene? So in this analogy, in this sort of space, I want you to look at it that way, that you've taken the window off of your crown chakra. When you take that out and the light comes in, that crystal is your pineal gland. That's the gland in the middle of your brain. It's actually a crystallized gland, actually. And when it hits that, then it shoots light throughout all areas of your body. The piece of paper that you've written your hardship on, I'm going to give you this visual. I want you to put it on the wall of where your third eye would be if you were inside your head. In other words, if you're going up to get this skylight, you move it to the side, and you put the crystal, this staff, in the middle, and you're going to put the piece of paper that you've written your hardship on the wall, on the inside wall facing in of your challenge. Is that clear? When the light comes in, it'll hit the crystal. I want you to face that crystal so this light will hit your poster on the wall. And then from there, what are you getting? Because when you put light behind anything, like an X-ray, it'll show you where the dark spots are. And it'll tell you a little story of what's going on about that hardship. And saying, now what do I do? Now, for those that are more advanced, if you've just done this for the first time, then just do that. For those of you who have done this and can do multiple things at the same time, see white light coming in, hitting the staff, this crystal, and then shoot purple light on this poster on the wall. Okay? I know there's a few things going on there. And then just keep breathing in white and breathing out purple in your color breathing. So when that light beam hits your poster, I just want you to look at it and tell me what it turns into. Tell me what the first impression you get energetically about this challenge that you're going through humanly. You're looking for a way. What is your next step, or a way out, or a vision? Anything. You might feel something go down your spine. Your hairs might go on end. You just might get pictures. You might hear something. All of us will have a different way that it's being communicated depending on the type of person you are. If you're more tactile, like you're a touchy-feely type person, you like hugs, you like to be touched, then you're going to feel things on your arms and in your back and so on. If you're more visual, then you will actually see more visions in this meditation, colors and just things, and it'll just take you off, and wherever you're going to end up, that's going to be part of your answer. If you're more auditory, if you like to see how things sound, like a musician constantly are using their ears and sounds, you might hear something, like a whisper saying, keep going, or whatever it is. So all of these things you want to be able to just make a note of, and in a different perspective, we want to find you another way to find an answer in the hardest things that you're dealing with right now. Because Spirit says, if you could find out the hardest things that's happening right now, the rest is a piece of cake. It's still going to be difficult, but now you have a technique where you could find a way to get through. Remember, when you're going through a really tumultuous point of your life, it's really turmoil and there's really a lot of things going on, that is not the time to want to thrive. You know, I use the analogy where if you're wanting a tattoo, you don't go and put yourself on a dune buggy race. Okay? It's not the time to put a tattoo on. And right now, it's just, let's get through the race, and we'll get the tattoo after. So in other words, right now, you're just holding on in some way. You're in that survival mode. There's a podcast that we came up with called the Universal Correction. And where this comes into play regarding challenges is that sometimes if we decide on something that takes us off our path, and that happens at times, we would be involved with somebody for a short time that perhaps wasn't to our higher good. But there's always going to be what we call a universal correction. And that is where whatever decision you've made will correct itself down the road, and it'll sort of nudge you back on the trail that you would be on. They would never let you go off on 180 degrees unless you're avoiding any messages. You're purposely going in the wrong direction. But that's a great podcast to listen to in that perspective, where it'll tell you a little bit and give you that assurance that even though whatever you're doing, it is just a temporary situation. The challenges that you're going through right now, all of it is temporary. Because Spirit says it is absolutely impossible for negative energies to always keep barreling down in the same intensity. It's impossible. It defies law, because everything works in waves. There's always this big wave that you think it'll just take you out, but then it recedes. And when it recedes and there's nothing happening, that's the time to regenerate, rejig, and do your thing. You will never get the same intensity. The wind doesn't keep blowing indefinitely all the time. There are moments of calmness. And that's where we start to make those changes. So whatever you're going through right now, it's like camping. I don't like going to the washroom in an outhouse, but if it's camping, I'll do it for a short time. So look at it that way. If that is an easier energy to get through, it is just temporary, whatever I'm going through, and I don't like it, you could say, and things are really tough, but I could take it for a short time. And that's all Spirit wants you to do, is just have that mentality that whatever it is that's difficult, it's going to be short-lived. Thank you for listening to my online tuning class. Give yourself 24 to 48 hours to process how you are feeling, which gives the body a chance to catch up on what you have cleared today. As these are powerful energy-clearing classes that help relax our bodies and assist to reduce stress. If you know of anybody that could benefit from this for future classes, please spread the word. We are located on our Facebook page called Group Tuning Class with Tony, and until next time, Namaste.